Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and everything and amazing Propagandacast with me, your host, ImperialDane. The one and only master propaganda heroes like defender of the fatherland, off you to a 1v1 on Tuscan Vineyards. The south it is Del fighting here for the British Empire, the Commonwealth, here with the 1st Armoured Division. Trying to break through the vineyards being held here by forces under the command of the ImperialDane himself. Fighting here with the 2nd Fallschirmjäger Division. Got double pioneers, grenadiers versus double sappers. Rushing out troops wherever I can as fast as possible. And my opponent doing similarly. As always, a big hearty thanks to my patrons and supporters for the continued generous and wonderful support of the Propagandacast, keeping all these videos possible, so big thanks there. A big thanks to commenting and liking on them, really helps out a lot with the algorithms. So, I picked Luftwaffe here, gonna go for some Fallschirm Pioneers down the road, but I'm not gonna drop them in initially because they almost typically just tend to, like, you know, get bowled over, in particular versus the Brits, so I've kind of personally stopped doing that. Instead, what I will do is, once I've gone for a couple of Grenadiers, I'm using the new skin then because I like model variations and I still think there should be something more like, you know, initial. I still feel like the actual uniform's going to be better in a sense. Like, you know, this is supposed to be late war, but, you know, it's more like World War I late war. That kind of thing. So, you know. But anyways, enough about that. But, you know, get some grenadiers out, slightly stabilize, and then use the Fallschirm Pioneers to drop behind my opponent, you know, creating a bit of a bigger tactical setup there. So, slightly changing up the order, I think, how most people do it. 2nd Grenadier squad here for me. 1st section, of course, is right. He's pushing westwards, not the episode steers, sappers the Grenadiers. Trying, of course, shoot them, but not get within the effective range of the Sten guns. That's typically a very bad idea for my Grenadiers. East side sappers almost got the fuel point there. 2nd Grenadier squad on the way, 2nd section, infidel. Noting he is not moving up to support the engagement, which is very helpful for my sections, of my Grenadiers. And sections versus Grenadiers tend to be heavily favored by the sections, unless the section do some very tactically bad moves. Moving up here, Grenadiers taking around the point. And a bit of barbed wire here, denying my opponent access to his cover. Section pushing northwards, ignoring here the main strong point here. And dropping in the Fallschirm Pioneers. In this case, because there's no major engagement here, I'm just going to drop them down here. Basically, I figure my opponent's focus is going to be here, at which point they're probably not going to be having anything down here when hitting their field point. So I'm trying to, like, mess my opponent's, shall we say, attention span a bit. Section pushing northwards here. He's clearly focusing up, so he's clearly ignoring what I'm doing, as I'm kind of ignoring what he's doing. Fantastic stuff, obviously. Vic is here on the way for Del, Sappers Pioneers. Almost got this cut-off point, dug in a bit as well with the Grenadiers. Got the Sappers going with the Sten gun, can kind of fire from the Grenadiers. Immediately got Nigel there going down.
We are losing control of a sector.
Fuel point there being threatened by British efforts. Fallschirm Pioneers, they're done. And there you go. Just going to grab the point, but I'm not going to stick around for too long here, since holding his cut point for long isn't ideal. I also want to defend my own fuel point, but crucially, I still want to deny him fuel, because the more fuel I can deny my opponent, the less I have to worry about, you know, getting a Humber armored car shoved right down my throat.
The enemy have taken our territory.
So busy up northwest here. Got the Pioneers lining up, Panzergrenadier company on the way.
Enemy forces have captured a victory point.
He's pushing up here, Fallschirm's moving in. Be able to catch the Vickers a bit off guard. There we go. A bit too quickly in there, though, giving him time to actually react. Trying to maybe get within range of Popper's after charge, and yeah, didn't quite land it there, unfortunately. Going up here, catching the sappers there section, but they got the fuel point, denying me some precious fuel right return. Section there, though, for Del, more infantry to tackle the bloody German menace. Pioneers on the move there. Attract the Panzergrenadier, as they have received increased, but now have several buffs. I think, you know, time to give them another go.
Stuka aircraft ready to strafe our enemies.
So there we go, Panzergrenadier out, something a bit more offensively oriented here, right off the bat. There you go, Sappers 2 Pioneer squads. Pioneers closing in a bit too slowly, but even then the Sappers are very easily winning this one.
Victory point lost.
So if he's not responding to the southern fuel point, which definitely helps me out a bit there, since that's denying him 5 fuel per minute, may not appear like a lot, but in the long term, that's the sort of thing that can sort of stack up. And there you go. Panzergrenadier is ready here with a Sturmgewehre. And for that, That section, they're making a big old push on the cutoff point, really committing in large numbers. He is determined to advance for the British Empire. Tally-ho, chaps. Of course, I have to respond to this one way or the other, but at the same time, obviously, can't respond peacefully. Plus, the way it's moving up at least tells me there's some sections around there, I believe. So I'm definitely anticipating it.
cut us off. We have
There might be something there
out of
else, and I
supply.
just need to like commit to a larger assault. They do have the strafing run, and due to good map control to this extent, I do have plenty of munitions to spare for the strafing runs. Just have to be careful not to, run into them, because they do have friendly fire now. Mine's been laid down here, Baker setting up for anyone on the flank here, section pushed off. My forces caught here, and pull the strafing run, there we go. Note the angling here as well. We'll try and capture the section as well with it. There we go, kind of messing up this defense here. The Luftwaffe, of course, they're serving as a nice tool to just, gain me some more tempo and engagement. Sure, in this case, didn't do too much, but it kind of forced my opponent to split up quickly, giving me more room to building up my infantry for a nice push. That's kind of how it can be used quite effectively. Sure, sometimes you might actually hit a lot of damage, but even then, correctly used, the main goal is half the time just to cause your opponents like split up, not being, quite as concentrated as you'd like them to. Quick merge here, narrowly saving my pants is definitely a bit risky here, but there you go. Come on, Ludwig! Aim those rifles properly, you're no longer grenadiers, you're panzer grenadiers. Well, I suppose we're Fallschirmjägers, aren't we? I mean, I'd still like to see, like, a proper Fallschirmjäger squad for some of these guys. With some model variations, too. I'd honestly pay for that, but... oh well. Yeah, they did have later in the war as Fallschirmjäger units also put assault rifles. Fun fact. Pack 40 on the way here, obviously concerned about the Humber armoured car. I do want to make sure I'm somewhat ready. I could go for the LG-40, but I'd rather prefer some mines and some strafing rounds at the moment. So, going for the Pack 40 here. Panzerabwehrkanone 40. Also got anti-tank rounds indicating he's concerned about light vehicles out of me.
Anti-tank gun and crew are ready for orders.
The 251.5. The Stummel could be sort of thing very much, weighing heavily on his mind. Unfortunately for him, that, is great for me because I don't really have anything that can be significantly threatened by a pair of boys anti-tank rifles. But the opposite, we do get the Humber on the way, then now for Dell and the British Empire. The offensive of the 1st Armour Division is already stalled down a bit, and Monty is starting to maybe slowly take notice as to what's, well, not happening. Straight to mine with both section and machine gun team. That was a pretty good mine for me, with a total of 4 casualties there. Inflicted. I'd say for a mine is really good value. Another straight run again, here, middle station on the way there. Not quite as effective this time around, plus again with friendly fire, I actually hit my own men. Definitely a mistake I've made a few times. So, keep that in mind while using your strafing runs, you can actually get hurt by them now. At the south, got a few pioneers poking about there. Argentinian flanking, unfortunately not deeply enough, we got the biggest that already. And Humber actually got cancelled, interestingly enough, here probably being the Pack 40. Dell found himself less intrigued with the idea of going for the Humber. Panzers are diving in here, and the Sturmgewehr already veterans who won, where they do become a bit better after the buffs. It's that, and I believe veterans they got a buff as well there. The Valdilard and the Victor's not quite fast enough. Close though, very close. Still, great map control for Dell, obviously. Just a good old classic, moving a lot of sections. With maybe Vickers in control or backup because the sections are just hyper efficient for their cost. It's something I feel like still the patch did not resolve, similarly to like, they didn't resolve anything about the 30 counts. Fortunate for me, my opponent hasn't quite been leveraging the sections initially as well as he could have, which gave me some breathing room. Had he played his sections a lot more aggressively against me, I'd be in a lot more trouble. Because again, I think the sections are a bit too good. It's just not to talk about it as much. It's probably the actual issue, so... details. Anyways, Fudging Pioneers, Greatest pushing westwards here. Sections advancing up, grabbing his fuel point. He got some maneuvering here, some a bit of harassment. Sappers are laying down mines. I got mine troopers out, obviously. And the benefit of the Fudging Pioneers, they can sweep the staff. I was wondering why I'm not going for the MD-15 upgrade in these guys, because I think it's still worth the cost. Like, it basically performed a sort of pretend buff as far as I'm concerned, meaning it doesn't really do anything relevant for its cost. So, I'd still not recommend the MG15 want an upgrade. Go for the grenade launcher, basically. Otherwise, just keep them unupgraded. Just lay down mines instead. Going for the support elements, I was going to go for some Sturmgeschütze in the near future. Runs up to 4 sections now, which is definitely where things get a bit more uncomfortable for me. Though again, I'm very fortunate he's first getting 4 sections. Now, I decide to go for them right off the bat again. I'd be in a lot of trouble.
We have advanced weaponry
Very much
ready
early
to-
game,
We
he
have
does not do well
control
as
of
a
the
lot of sections.
victory point.
Oh, great mine here from opponent. Takes up 4 of my men. That's a really
The
good
enemy
mine.
has taken a victory point.
Quick merge with the Panzerguns if we want to.
We finished our orders.
Yep. Put them around here to flank because I'm anticipating something here. And then for some reason the Panthing just decides to casually send them that way anyways, despite I was trying to get them around here.
All victory points are under enemy control.
One of those cases where I do really hate that the Panthing can sort of like just decide, you know, it knows better than you. So far though, leader casualties, not too surprised as opposed to British versus the Wehrmacht, unless you get like a really good early game in there. Again, the sections are just so efficient alongside the other stuff they have in the early game that, you know, they can give you a lot of trouble.
You have 3
Down rushing ahead
points
here
at
with
your
the
disposal.
company command post. I can go for the Stoop in a few moments. There we go, Sturmgeschütz lads from get on the way. Got a Reiki section added, moving forwards.
Bastards have secured our
Trying to buy
territory
time to
from
get
us.
some more troops into position here to defend the cut-off point.
Sectors are isolated. We have been
At the
cut
point that
off.
the Fallschirmjägers, of course, have also been air-equipped buffed. Unlike the Panzer Grenadiers do get at least something at Veterans 1, the Fallschirmjägers require a bit more than Veterans 1 to like actually gain the benefit of the buff. Company command post almost done here for Della and the British Empire. Stug ready for me though, and Deutschland, and fun fact, Fallschirmjäger division simply had their own Stug Abteilung to
Sturmgeschütz
provide
deployed.
support there. Stug battery at least, there you go. Sappers round it, section in trouble, Stug 3D ready. Well, the infantry skins I need, I do think the tank skins they offer aren't very good.
Alarm. Sector
They
overrun.
definitely would so good for that one. So, Stug on the move. I definitely should get the officers' quarters going, by the way. Looking forward to catching the Recce section with our Sturmgewehre. Pop the veterans one to by some automatic fire, but I hold my hand on that one and decide not to commit to it. Dell, though, taking a while to get any armor going, pushing eastwards into the Pioneers. Stug hanging back, got the 10 machine gun ready.
Sector lost.
Still benefit also from some Fallschirmjägers, or maybe just some more Panzer Grenadiers, to be honest. Just some more, bit more tougher infantry than the Grenadiers that can actually hit a bit harder as well. But officers' quarters just to get the Stug's point blank blast, which, you know, did get changed. Arguably, I'd think in some respects basically buffed compared to before. While I don't think it before was a bad ability, it was very limited, very narrow in how you could use it, whereas the new one, you know, a lot more flexible.
Ready to paragraph on your
Certainly a
request.
lot more useful on the offensive. We'd hopefully be able to highlight why later down the episode. Got Fiend 35, Spawn 24 here, Recce section, anti-tank section, Sappers all on the move here. Fallschirm Pioneer, Panzers being attacked here, we've got letters from these chaps. LD-40s, just in case I need them. And I need Rev head deal with some of the dug-in stuff here. Not I should go for the need Rev for this soon. I still think some more Panzer Grenadiers are fucking doing better here now in hindsight, but you know, certainly can make it hard for opponents to rely too heavily on the support weapons here around certain points.
Engines running.
Victory
Stug
point
so
is
far
under
just
enemy
collecting
control.
dust, should be a bit more active with it. I'm probably concerned about
An
any
officer is
anti-tank
being
guns.
installed for our Panzer Grenadier Company.
And got the officer's quarters on the way as well there. Thumbs up. Breathing here, bit of quiet.
Pioneers ready.
A Nebelwerfer weapon is available.
There you go, Nebelwerfer ready. Come on, Fritz, push harder! Push! Harder!
The infantry want us dead!
There you go, punch them in the Vetchi too. They already got about 13 casualties inflicted. Basically means they count for almost,
Where the hell did they come
count for
from?
more than a third. I believe all my casualties in front. On there.
Headquarters has an officer
So,
stationed.
Crusading almost done, and neither of them hold forwards. And easily being mowed down by the Brand section.
He's fucking dead!
There goes Stu on some move, pushing ahead is supported by the Falchion King and the Grenadiers. Got the Brand section, they may have trouble. Actually taking the rounding here for Dell and the British Empire. There you go, 6-pounder shoots, miss, it bounces off the sidearm, which is kind of impressive. Luftwaffe could respond to this, but so far I'm not quite doing that. We've got to push up the centre here. West side Crusaders swinging there, pushing back the Panthers. Finally, kept quite a few British forces occupied there. Breaker section advances, and the southeast also poking a bit in there. Falchion losing hard to the satchel charge off it, and almost had the entire unit wiped. That's pretty handy. Stupid going for the bottom lane blast. Which now just works as timed ability, which crucially means it's a bit more flexible. Because previously it just means like you can only focus on one unit, like I said. It also meant you really couldn't do anything else with the unit. So like, you activated your unit approach, you just had to stay then, but you couldn't pursue anything like that. The ability to cancel, so
We have territory
this
cut off
provides
from
ability,
supply.
I think, with a lot more flexibility in how you use it. This has all been used a lot more effectively offensively, because you can just use it like a variety of targets. It's definitely, I think, a lot more functional now. Quite good enough anything. There you go, nearly barrage some damage here. Direct hit on the 6-pounder gun, through a bit risky, but I do have the Pack 40 covering the flank and the Grenadiers here. Otherwise, I'd not advise going in this hard with the Stu. Crusader tank going up here on the flank. Another Vic is on the way here from Del and Britannia. And there goes 6-pounder gun destroyed. Zerstört. Few up on there again being hit. Quite an aggressive harassment from both sides. But at least at this point, I have managed to somewhat overtake my opponent in terms of casualties. Not wildly so, but it's something. I can also now go for TV reinforcement, which obviously would be good. I'll go for another Stroop first, now that I've seen my opponent has a tank. I'm expecting more Crusaders, so having another Stroop to make it a bit harder to get swarmed, I think is a solid idea on my part. I still should eventually get more infantry put against something with a bit more oomph, like Panzer Grenadiers or the Falchion Jägers.
Commandant, we are ready.
Definitely think I could have been, again, gone for some Panzer Grenadiers sooner. Want them. Perhaps apply more aggressive pressure against my opponent, but that's that. I think like transfer out one of the Grenadiers forces, to be honest. Now the Panzer Grenadiers have been, upped a bit more. Transferring out Grenadiers from Falchion or for Panzer Grenadiers might be worth considering. Something here. Falchion being doing the samples here.
The enemy is winning.
Sometimes they're completely routed. Might even get a wipe here. Second Stug ready. More Fallschirmjäger Stugs. Fallschirmjäger.
Shall we
Schon.
Ready for us?
This up punish the samples. And so it's worth considering that Mr. Warm and Dawn, most Fallschirmjäger divisions effectively were transformed into basically just more elite Panzer Grenadier divisions, in a sense. Of course, you also then had the newer ones, that sort of about, roughly by 1944 and onwards, and those were typically just Luftwaffe flavored full Grenadier divisions. In comparison, which is typically the less talked about thing.
Our brave infantry has been killed.
Suffering a wipe here, and here's what we made the bullet, and then some bunker almost got them.
We have command points
Close to
that
wipe
still
here,
require
very
assignment.
close, but not quite. There go British artillery rat, picking up some casualties there. And up here, Bick is a job of the Falchion Pioneer.
We have 300 points remaining.
Looks like Lady Fortuna has him covered. Despite, kind of not paying attention. My barrage this one going off doing nothing, and finally dropping in some Fallschirmjägers. There you go, big infantry push here, pushing back the Falchion Pioneer. that side can come down with 2 Stooks. Honestly, a bit risky what I'm doing, considering we just theoretically flank right from the attack order here, so... But there we go again. As you might notice, with point blank blast, it becomes much easier to like pursue a unit with a Stoog and just, you know, get in some more hits for the high explosives. You still have to keep like close distance, but it helps a bit. It helps a bit. Again, it just allows for more aggressive maneuvering with it. Again, honestly, a very big help there if you're actually the one who remembers that Stoog has that ability. Meanwhile, south here, Fudge moves around the same victory point. Big point so far has a good lead.
Bastards have secured our territory from us.
There's more infantry, the more elite and aggressive kind. I can certainly also apply more pressure to the map overall, which was sort of the issue there with the Grenadiers again. Like, you know, they just sort of like hit a bit of a brick wall after a certain point. It's the Brits. And again, it's probably where I should have like transferred one of the Grenadier squad sooner for a Panzer Grenadier squad. That would have probably given me a bit more oomph to bring to bear against Delta. But there you go, 8 Panzer Grenadiers. Definitely gives them a bit of more bump combined with the tactical advance. There you go, the bad Ladnung. But they did took a bit of a nasty hit there from that rifle grenade. Finding trouble with the 2 recce sections. Absolute target practice here for the infantry. And white because they didn't have time to react. Needler responding, but way too late. Which is honestly classic for the Needler. In the Stook to assist here in the west. Grenade there does a hell of a job, and point the blanks activate it. Almost got the section, another Stook going in. Not enough. Oh, got the white there. Bit of painful blow there to Dell. He might score another white here with the sappers if Dell is careful. He's trying to stall, but he might have bitten off more than he could chew. What his men could chew, really. Sneaking with the recce section, looking to hit my support wing position. We've got some Falchion Pioneers, we've also got Falchion Jaegers and the Ace Panzer Grenadiers. Still Falchion Jaegers, I suppose. Again, I'd really like a Falchion Jaeger version. There's like the game, like, you know, just give various types of them, like, you know, there's various models. For some of the stars we have like, you know, the later war models, so there's more like guns, stuff like that would be really cool.
Victory point lost. A park gun has been knocked out.
Maybe just give the Grenadiers some regular Luftwaffe field infantry uniforms. Oh, a section wipe there. Panzer Grenadiers again with ace level and all the buffs there. Actually starts like really hit hard.
Has control over all victory points.
It really can inflict some significant damage. Of course, that still has the caveat you need to get them there, but with improved actions 1, again that was across obstacles, they are kind of getting there. Are kind of getting worthwhile compared to before. But again, with the caveat, A, you need the officer's quarters, and you kind of really need to get to Veteran 3. So, again, there are some caveats, some footnotes there, you know, some small fine prints in the contract. Opening my Falchion Pioneer up. And then 1525 more sappers for Del, but he's starting to take some heavy losses again, like his carelessness have allowed my Stooks for him to get wipes, and I imagine also some of the Panzer squads. Everyone again. Again, great map control allows you to just keep pouring in munitions for the strafing run, which again can answer win some engagements. Note, of course, here I've got 11 command points, still haven't picked the ability. Definitely a weak play by me, you know, I definitely, you know, am not doing well. In fact, being like infiltration bombing run up, so I'm definitely being sloppy here, and I definitely should not be sloppy. This is just poor play by me. Period, you know. I call out other players for like this stuff, so I definitely also need to call myself on this. You know, bad play. Thumbs down. Be better, Dane. Be better. Be the change you want to see in others. So, section on the way there for Dell, Crusader swing in. He still hasn't been able to bring in a lot of tanks, though. I think part of it is just because, honestly, at this point, he's just stalling out for the Black Prince, which on paper sounds nice, but it gives him more room to, like, you know, play and hurt on him. My Panzer Grenadier. Nemo barrage here, complete whiff, unless it's running the next year's harvest, I suppose. Grapes. You've done it, Jurgen! You've ruined next year's harvest! Aren't the Italians gonna get pissed at us? Oh, yeah. Good point. There goes Stuke going in. Point blank blast going in hard here. Just doesn't quite have the impact. My opponent just seems to ignore it, but there goes a second hit. Absolute kablamo. Still haven't upgraded that super machine gun. That's definitely a slip by me. Crusader moving in hard here, quick turn around the Stukes. Can't afford to like try and hunt them down, even the tanker. Crusader on the flank, Speaker 13. British forces swimming in hard here. Charging in hard, forgot to crew the pack 40.
Enemy point.
Third Stuke on the way because those Stukes equal more glory as far as I'm concerned. I should also at this point definitely also consider looking into officer quarters. Then again, there's a lot I need to do.
Infantry trying to close the gap.
Trying to make run off here with the Niederwerfer. And there we go, finally got it going here, boy. And a fragmentation bombing run.
Our territory is exposed. We must re-establish a connection.
Which I prefer for Loiter, because now the Loiter's been nerfed. It's not really a very impactful, but it's a well-placed fragmentation bombing run. It's kind of like, you know, a strafing run, except, you know, stuff dies. Spectacularly.
Turkish reporting for duty.
And can, like, really rip large holes in the opponent if they're playing too statically. I really like the fragmentation bomb over the strafe of the Loiter, personally. They're hitting out here, 170 to 274. Still kaput. Definitely could have been avoided there. That was definitely poor play by me there. Just waited for him to get the job done, really. That was definitely very sloppy by me. 170 to 268 though. Found a gun on the run. Got the Vickers there to recruit. There you go, Vickers to the rescue. Of course, I still got two Stukes. My opponent's still has tank a little healthier, so there's a part of me that despite losing the Stuke, I'm feeling more bold in part because again I got quite large and I can use it more aggressive and actively. 32, shot bounced. Said I'm probably being too aggressive here again. I'm just losing the Stuke here, so overall, not the smartest play there by me. Not the smartest, let's be honest. Up north here, British from Sappers thinking about the left flank. You will of course quickly recruit by some plucky Fudgy here. We got the Fudgy Megas on the move once more. But I do have the Vickers machine gun here now. Try and hold up my opponent's advance a bit more. And Gal, of course, in trying to go for the Black Prince is kind of risking, you know, getting sucked into a vicious circle. And that does kind of seem to be happening right here to him. As he's constantly bleeding, so he can't go for the Black Prince, but because he can't go for the Black Prince, you know, he's bleeding.
Victory point is under enemy
It's
control.
kind of like it reinforces itself. That's the thing you have to be careful with these kind of like, you know, maneuvers. Like how much else you have in the field to like ensure like, you know, you're not just bleeding out constantly while you're stalling for it, but also pressing the opponent more and more. That is a much trickier balance than, you know, one might imagine sometimes.
Territory sector lost.
Of course, my opponent is being helped with some of the mistakes I am definitely making, tactically and strategically. I mean, imagine again I'd gone for this much sooner, I probably would have a lot more manpower to spare. I'd be able to apply more pressure on my opponent with more units, so, you know, I'm definitely making some errors that is definitely helping Del here also like, you know, stay in the fight and maybe makes it a bit easier to go for the Black Prince. Vickers versus Vickers. This unfortunately is not firing at the other Vickers. And we got the Needle barrage off once more. And they're rifling off the hammering the Vickers. West side got Hunters busy. Crusader anti-air tank for Del, but I don't think he's going to go flat at this point. Again, it feels like he's just putting all of his money on the Black Prince. East Pound's moving up first. Left side into mine, taking neatly 2 losses there. We've got the Fudge Imperial on the right flank. Luftwaffe so far has, you know, not really done too much, that certainly has done some. There's arguments made, I might have benefited more from just going for a mortar instead of the Luftwaffe here so far this match. would not disagree with that.
Enemy forces have claimed our territory.
Taking anti-tank fire. That was
Six
close.
pounder gun hanging back here.
Commandant.
Causing healing here for me. If they need repairs, he's suddenly got the section standing ready. Back at base, we're not seeing too much else. He's getting closer to the Black Prince. He's getting very close.
The enemy has claimed
159,
our territory
199.
for their own.
For some reason, we're not getting any vehicle casualties inflicted on each other, which is a bit weird. Things since I know it's like, you know, taking at least one Stug. Steps of Colt laying down mines.
They found us. Return fire.
There you go, Black Prince out there for Del and Britannia. Churchill Unicorn, that never really saw any action. Also worth noting, the actual Black Prince was actually larger because they actually had to, like, you know, use an enlarged Churchill chassis in a sense. It's like actually making the entire thing work, so it was actually larger than this on top of that. Big old needle and Barrier again, not really hitting too much, and again, probably benefit more from just a good old water. But in this case, it did work out for me. 37, I mean, they're really getting some casualties inflicted now with all these buffs, and again, hitting vegetables. Less up, Black Prince has arrived, they're striking into the left flank here of the 4th Fallschirmjäger Division's 3rd Fallschirmjäger Company. Dukes 6 pack 40 on the move here. Catching his anti-tank with the Panzer Grenadiers, engaging Crusader 3rd Stug on the way here. Got the 6 pounder gun, painful blow there to Del. Sappers, Brent, 2nd chunk of the Panther Stug engaging, the Crusader's almost knocked out. The Troops somehow they didn't lose it out here, continue to charge forwards here. Valdeladung doing some damage here. Stug pursuing here, Black Prince slowly reacting to what's going on there. Del though has lost almost his entire force at this point, Crusader down. And now charging into the Pack 40 and the other Stugs here. 3rd Stug almost ready. Panzer is withdrawing here. Low on health, low on numbers. And the gun until a lot of good anyway. Del, a bit late to the party there. Crucially, his Black Prince is on his own. And there you got Fallschirmjäger's ping on the left flank. With the Panda fast range to the rear. Increasing the damage down. 1 Stug down, but I'd say Stug for Black Prince is a very good trade. And with that, we get a battle that no one ever believed because the Germans claim they knocked out Prince. Yeah, we took one out of the Black Princes. Yeah, it's really impressive work. And then Israel's like, well, they didn't make those, did they now? This is just a load of bollocks, isn't it?
What are your orders?
So the anti-tank flank only got some panzers running on the Stug, getting ready for it. Thumbs up. One of the greatest battles of Italy that never ever happened. At this point, not much left for him. The panzers they've managed to. Oh, they're still in the Stug, so can't quite shoot it off here. He's still at it, like he's still firmly, desperately trying here. At this point, I think it's safe to say the battle's very much pulled out of his hands. And the Pence goes one way, though. At this point, I might as well just go for Fallschirmjägers. Yes, there you go. Jumping off, and there you go. 48. That's definitely not bad. That's pretty good. Like a unit that's, you know, cost 340 manpower and kind of needs an upgrade from the building that they come from to actually be worthwhile. Definitely expect that kind of performance. So, you know, that's more of a performance where I'd say, okay, they're actually solid. Actually worth it. At this point, Del is pretty much stuffed. Christmas turkey. He seems still determined to keep fighting. He's bringing more Crusaders. By this point, I mean, I've got both his machine guns, I got a Stug, and I've got plenty of infantry, including now 2 Panzer Grenadier squads, Fallschirmjägers, and, you know, a mix of Fallschirm Pioneers and regular Pioneers.
Victory point is under enemy control.
So not looking so great there from the opponent. superpowers here. Obviously not achieving too much except for really cool effects. Surprisingly, he still keeps running this, but
The enemy has claimed our sector.
you get that sometime with players. Still haven't gone for my third skirt, so I should have done that. Again, another slip there by me this match, to be honest. But not as big as being way too late to actually pick that up. My ability to out of the battle group way too late. Another section later, Dell seems determined he can still turn this around somehow. Start bringing out the monster too late for this one.
We
You
are
poor
to be
Ludwig
commanded.
just...
The
You
enemy
had
is
a
down to
minesweeper!
100 points.
And you take it out now? Oh, you assholes! I hope you get hemorrhoids. Chronic ones. Hunting down the Infantry punch the Crusader. Stu, Granny's running in here. Gonna wipe them up, poor Fudge Pioneer. Fudgeman's just standing about them, clearly more focused on the Crusader tank. He does some use way into his base, trying to wipe the Fudge Pioneer, and then select neither units in the front line.
Enemy forces have captured a victory point.
Fudge Pioneer squad actually survives that, impressively enough. Stu on the hunt. In the south, we got the Panzer Defender standing upon the Bren section there, 49. Almost at 50, there we go. Pioneer surrender here from Dell. Actually, the manager right there is the image. It's 50. So there you go, GG game over. Definitely not a flawless match for me. Made several strategic and some tactical errors there that definitely gave my opponent some breathing room. And certainly my opponent just like, you know, bunched up the sections, going for a lot of them right off the bat. I probably would have struggled a lot more with me. Because again, the sections are just kind of dumb at the moment, I think. But that said, I still think it's a good highlight of what the Panzergunners can do and the new Stuke point blank blast. And thus, I thought the match, you know, still had some merit. Plus, you know, mistakes for me is always worth pointing out. So, there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match and learned something from it. This is ImperialDane. Cheers, and see you all tomorrow for another exciting episode. Bye, everyone.